On October 29, 2018, Lion Air Flight 610 takes off from Jakarta. 12 minutes later, it nosedives into the Java Sea at 450 miles per hour. All 189 passengers and crew are killed instantly. 5 months later, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 crashes 6 minutes after takeoff. Another 157 people dead. 2 brand new Boeing 737 MAX aircraft. 2 identical crashes. 346 lives gone. The cause? A hidden software system that pilots didn't know existed, because telling them would have cost Boeing money. This isn't a story about defective planes. It's about what happens when quarterly earnings reports become more important than engineering warnings. When a company decides that Wall Street matters more than the people in seat 12A. For decades, Boeing was an engineering company that happened to make money. Then in 1997, they merged with McDonnell Douglas, a company known for prioritizing costs over safety. The McDonnell Douglas executives took over. The culture shifted overnight. Engineers who once had final say were now answering to finance teams. The Seattle headquarters moved to Chicago, closer to Wall Street, further from the factory floor. By 2011, Boeing faced a crisis. Their competitor Airbus had just launched the A320neo, a fuel-efficient upgrade that airlines loved. Boeing had 2 options: design a new aircraft from scratch, which would take a decade and cost $20 billion. Or modify their existing 737 with bigger engines. They chose option 2. But there was a problem. The 737 was designed in the 1960s. It sits low to the ground. The new, larger engines wouldn't fit under the wings in the normal position. So Boeing mounted them higher and further forward. This changed the plane's aerodynamics. It could now pitch up unexpectedly during flight and stall. The engineering solution? MCAS. Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System. MCAS was software that would automatically push the nose down if sensors detected the plane was pitching up too steeply. Sounds reasonable. Except Boeing made 3 catastrophic decisions. First, they made MCAS rely on a single sensor. If that sensor failed, MCAS would activate based on false data. Second, they didn't tell pilots the system existed. Why? Because if pilots needed training on MCAS, airlines would have to ground crews for simulator sessions. That would cost airlines money. Which meant they might buy from Airbus instead. And third, they made MCAS powerful enough to override pilot commands. Every 5 seconds, it could push the nose down again. And again. And again. Boeing's internal communications, revealed later in investigations, show engineers raised concerns. One employee messaged a colleague, "This airplane is designed by clowns, who are supervised by monkeys." Management ignored them. In 2017, the 737 MAX was certified as safe. Boeing had saved billions by avoiding a ground-up redesign. Their stock price soared. Lion Air Flight 610. The pilot is experienced. The aircraft is new, with only 800 flight hours. Shortly after takeoff, MCAS activates based on a faulty sensor reading. The pilot pulls back on the controls. MCAS pushes the nose down. He pulls again. MCAS overrides him again. For 12 minutes, the pilot fights the plane. He doesn't understand what's happening because Boeing never told him MCAS existed. The aircraft crashes into the sea. Boeing's response? They blamed the pilots. Suggested it was a training issue. They didn't ground the fleet. They didn't issue emergency directives about MCAS. 5 months later, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 experiences the exact same sequence. The pilot, Yared Getachew, had thousands of hours of experience. It didn't matter. MCAS activated. He pulled back. The system overrode him 21 times in 5 minutes. His last radio transmission, "Break break, request back to home." He never made it. After the second crash, global aviation authorities finally grounded the 737 MAX. Every single one, 387 aircraft sitting idle on tarmacs worldwide. The investigations revealed everything. The single sensor. The hidden software. The deliberately inadequate pilot training. Internal Boeing documents showed employees mocking regulators, joking about deceiving the FAA. One employee wrote, "I still haven't been forgiven by God for the covering up I did last year." This was January 2018. 10 months before the first crash. Here's what makes this story different from a normal corporate scandal. Boeing didn't fail because of incompetence. They failed because the system worked exactly as designed. After the 1997 merger, Boeing adopted a philosophy called shareholder value maximization. Every decision had to serve stock price first. Engineers who resisted were sidelined. Safety concerns that cost money were labeled uncompetitive. The 737 MAX crashes cost Boeing $20 billion in fines, compensation, and lost orders. Their stock crashed. Their reputation shattered. But here's the thing, during the years Boeing was cutting corners on the MAX, they spent $43 billion on stock buybacks, artificially inflating their share price. Executives cashed out. CEO Dennis Muhlenberg walked away with $62 million after being fired. The 346 people who died on those flights. Their families are still fighting for accountability. Boeing's 737 MAX flew again in 2020 after software fixes and mandatory pilot training, the training they originally avoided to save money. As of 2024, Boeing faces new safety scandals. Doors blowing off mid-flight. Whistleblowers dying under suspicious circumstances. The same culture that built the MAX is still running the company. Because here's the truth they don't want you to know, when you make shareholder value the priority, safety becomes a line item. And line items get cut.